Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Rachel Klein and I'll be your presenter today. The topic today is advancing groups and classes. Typically groups and classes that you will advance pertain to Sunday school classes. So I have a couple examples of Sunday school classes that we're going to work through in advance today. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go into membership. And I want to point out again that in people, the difference between school grade and groups and classes. Sometimes people call in a little confused about the difference. So school grades are specifically kindergarten through 12th grade. Okay, now that is the grade they are in school. Some people have preschool classes. Some people like to track school grade past high school graduate, but the default fields you are going to have for school grade are going to be here. And then the down arrow right now as the default, we have kindergarten through high school graduate. These are school grades. That's what we talked about yesterday. Okay, groups and classes are up here on the groups and classes tab. These are different classes or groups that you have created or someone has created within your Church Windows database, and then people have been assigned to those groups and classes. You can use start dates and end dates if you wish. It's optional, okay? So I know I keep bringing that up, but there is a big difference between the two. Typically, groups and classes, like I said, are used for Sunday schools. Sunday schools are going to be the most commonly advanced group or class that I see during support calls. Sunday school classes are typically set up by grade, which I think, again, brings in some confusion as to the school grade advancement and groups and classes advancement. But regardless, when you set up your groups and classes, you can specify that you want them to be a class or a group that does in fact advance. If you want more information about setting up groups and classes, there's a great video out on the Resource Center that walks through that. Feel free to watch that. But for today's event, we're assuming you already have your groups and classes set up and you already have people assigned to them. We just need to shift everybody up a year for their Sunday school. So to do that, you're going to go up to Special Functions up at the top, and you're going to click on Advanced Groups. This list is going to show you on the left-hand side all of your different groups and classes that when you set them up, you specified that you wanted these groups to advance. Okay? Again, first time you come in here, a list will be here, and this will be empty. Okay, you have to choose in this second column what group or class this one advances to. All right, again, these are going to be filled in, or these are going to be already filled in. These are the ones you have to fill in the advancing class. So for example, we have a Sunday school class that includes first and second graders. This is one class. If someone's going to advance out of this class, where are they going to advance to? And that's what you would then fill in and select in this column, okay? Like adult choir, we could fill something in there if we needed to. Same thing, we have third and fourth grade. That's going to go to fifth and sixth. Fifth and sixth, that's going to go to seventh and eighth. You might have your Sunday school classes grouped like this, or they might be separate per each grade level. Either way is fine. I can show you how some people advance and some people stay. But this is the screen where you have to tell the software what group advances to what group, okay? So we're just going to be dealing with these top 4 classes. And 7th and 8th grade junior high fellowship is going to go into my senior high youth fellowship, okay? And I would have had to select this specifically in this second column. I'm only going to check these 4. These are the only ones I want to advance at this time. Off here to the right, we have a Remove History button. If you choose to use start dates and end dates for groups and classes, you can specify if you want to keep the history of who was in what class and when, or you just check this Remove History box and it completely removes who was in what group and when. For example, if you have 5 people in this class in 2023 to 2024, do you want to keep the history on those kids that they were in that class from 2023 to 2024? If you want to keep that history of who was in what class and when in the past, then you do not want to check this box because we don't want to remove the history. If you ever have a group or class where you're like, okay, they were in this class at one point in time, I got my reports at that time that I needed, but I have no interest in seeing who was in that class previously, then you would check to remove the history. Again, it's up to you. Advanced by. This column is going to show you the user that last advanced this group. And the advanced by date, that's going to tell you the last time the advancement was done. It's important to always check this column first because you can get into trouble advancing a group too many times. So you just want to do this once a year. If you find you come in here and it was already done in June, you don't want to come in and advance it again because you're going to advance it twice. Now, sometimes people forget to do the advancement, so maybe you do need to do it twice. Regardless, you need to look at that date and make sure you are advancing at the appropriate time, okay? All right, we're just going to work with our Sunday school, so I just have these 4 checked, ignoring these other ones. And I'm going to say advance selected. First class is opening up. It's blank, okay? I wanted to show you this example specifically. What this tells us is that there would be kids here. Right now, I have no kids in 1st and 2nd grade Sunday school. So nothing is listed. So there's nothing I can do for this specific advancement. So I'm going to come down here and I'm going to hit cancel. Watch what happens. Then it opens up another window and it's looking at my 3rd and 4th grade advancing to 5th and 6th. So we didn't have anything to mess with our 1st and 2nd graders, but now we do have some kids that we need to change for 3rd and 4th. Now, because our classes encompass 2 grades, everyone might need to move. If that's the case, check this box, and that's going to move everyone. Or I can uncheck a couple, and I can specify Jake and Blake are moving from 3rd to 4th grade, so they're technically still in this class, so I don't want to move them. But Grace and Joanne and Mike, they are 4th graders. They are now moving to 5th grade. I do need to move these. Okay. The role, if they had a role listed, it would be filled in, and any comments for them specifically would be here. You also have some options here as well. If you have teachers included or an active people and you want them to be involved in the advancement, you would check these boxes. Typically, teachers are going to stay at that grade, so you don't want to advance teachers, but if your teacher wants to move along with their kids each year, then you can choose to advance teachers as well. And active people, again, typically you're going to omit them because they're inactive, they're not involved. The advancing roles and comments, again, normally you're going to keep those checked because you want the role and the comments to move with the kid. But it's up to you. You can uncheck it if you want to. Down at the bottom, if you're using start dates and end dates, so if you want to keep the history of who was in what class, like we specified on the last screen, you have to put in start dates and end dates to be able to keep that history. So start date, I'm going to do 08/01/2024. End date, I'm going to do 7/31/2025. So this is the start date. These kids are going to be in that 5th and 6th grade Sunday school class, and here's the end date, okay? So I'm going to say, okay, we're going to save this. It's going to tell us that it's going to advance the selected people. History will be saved. People will be copied. That's what we want. We're going to say, okay. Now the next window opens. Now we're looking at our original 5th and 6th graders and who should be moving to 7th and 8th grade. Let's say these are all 6th graders. They're all moving up to the 7th and 8th grade class. Check this box to select everybody. Again, make sure these settings up here are kept what you want. And again, down here, we are going to put in our same start date that we did for our other Sunday school class. And we're going to say, okay. Same note. Are we sure? Yes, we are. And now we've moved on to our last group, our original 7th and 8th graders, moving to our senior high fellowship. Let's say just one person is moving in this example. If none were moving, you would just click cancel. Keep that in mind too. But let's say just one person's moving. I'm going to pop my dates in here for the start date, end date of when Crystal is going to be in this class. I'm going to say okay. Do I want to advance? Yep. And now all of my people have been advanced, okay? And if we look here in this column, you can see today's date. This is when I advanced them. There was no one to advance in 1st or 2nd grade, so there's nothing filled in here. And then this will be your username. I'm in training data. I don't have a specific username, but you would see whatever your username is listed here, okay? And that's how simple it is to advance your groups and classes.